Good evening, Atlanta. This is Chef Jafar here, owner and operator of Peak Profession Catering. I wear many hats in this city, been kicking it around here 72 years. Listen, I do tennis, I coach, I cook, I clean even, but I got my thing going right now in this podcast, trying to network a little bit to get my thing out there so everybody know where to come get it. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and you know the other platforms. I'm there.
What up, everybody? This the Real Dirty Man. Y'all catch me in Atlanta Avenue, G Web Series, Decatur Wood Greater, Dope Girls, Series 1 and 2, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out here, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm entertainer, whatever you want to call it.
Hello, I'm Kateria, Atlanta native, y'all favorite life agent, born and raised here. Reach out, follow me, That Lady K, Instagram, Kateria Knox, Facebook.
Good evening. I am Trish K, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I now reside in Georgia. I'm author of Double Nature and founder of the nonprofit Kind Pride Support Services.
What's good, y'all? My name is Sean. I'm from Marietta, Georgia. I'm a payroll implementation manager and a caterer by day, as well as a hustler all day. I'm single. I'm 47 years old, and I'm happy to be here today.
Hi, Atlanta. This your girl, Coffee, the creator, the designer of Unlock Brims, the newly written author of AK Lessons, a retired veteran, a mother, and an entrepreneur of all things that get money. Check me out. I'm here with my girl, and we're ready to do an amazing podcast.
Y'all know what time it is.
Y'all know what time
it's
it
that
is.
Real Talk, Straight Talk with the Royal
You know what
Queen.
it is. It's Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Y'all know what time it is. It's Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Straight talking
Yes,
with the Royal
baby.
Queen right now.
It's that time when you finna hit that Real Talk, Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Hey guys, it's your girl, the Royal Queen, and I am back with another episode. And today I'm doing things a little bit different. I have this amazing panel with me today, and we are going to be talking about love, relationships, marriage, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive on in, okay? My first question I'm going to start with you, Dirty. I know that you are married to your high school sweetheart, and I want to know, how did you guys keep this marriage together so long?
It's all about listening to the woman. You ain't gonna never be right. How you keep it together. So I did it. Just listen to her. No matter if I was right or not, I just had to pay attention to what she was talking about.
So is that your advice for other men?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't never be right. I don't care how you like it. Just give her the foot, give her the road and say, okay, here you go. Just do pay your part.
So, Dirty, what advice would you give a couple that's been together since high school?
So what kind of advice I give people who've been together since high school? It all depends on the situation. So it all depends. If it's a mutual relationship y'all got together, y'all grow together, y'all push stuff together, that I tell you, just grow together.
Yeah.
And just listen.
Yeah.
So, advice I give, grow together, listen.
I love that. All right, my question is for old school. This is your second marriage. What did you learn from your first marriage that you was able to take into your second marriage that helped you be a better man today?
Straight to your question, honesty is the theory for me. It's not that I wasn't honest in the first relationship, but sometimes you're in a space where your honesty is not appreciated, so you hold back on it, and they don't have a real clear understanding of who you are. The longevity of the marriage tends to stem from you all have a common thing, y'all working together. And I have a idiom that I always say that most men commit, but some women submit. And when the thing that they submit to doesn't do them anymore, they're ready to change gears. But the guy's still stuck in there. I would say, fortunately for me, there were no kids involved, so it wasn't that lasting entanglement. But taking it into my new marriage with my new queen, from day one, I kind of gave her my requirements. And they were only two. Trust me and love me. And if you can do that, all the other things will fall into place, because it allows my space for me to be a man, to know that I got this backbone here that's not second guessing me, that cares about me. Fortunately, in this situation, we did have some history because we dated prior to. And now that I'm being asked, I'm gonna be totally candid. When I married the other lady, this relationship was kind of in the same works. I just made a choice.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, God saw fit for me to get back to what I'm saying is the choice I should have made the first time, because we did have history.
Okay.
And I just go with that, because when a man can say what he has to say and feel free with that, and he loves a woman, he got you.
I love that. Okay. All right, old school. I have another question for you as well. How important is communication in a relationship and in a marriage?
Yes, as I alluded to before, communication is the key, actually, because if you're not sharing your thoughts, there are too many voids, there are too many vacuums, too many gaps for things to sneak in. When you're not communicating with your spouse, because everybody wants to, first of all, there is get information from outside sources, which may not be the best thing for this particular relationship. And I say always that best advice you can give yourself is that you can give others, because you can always tell somebody else what to do. But if you're communicating with your person and y'all telling each other what to do and it's truthful, it's going to grow anyway. It's the water that the plant needs in order to thrive.
Yeah.
When you cut off the communication, no water, the plant dies.
Yeah. So, Sean, I want to ask you the same question, and right after that, Coffee, I want you to answer that same question. How important is communication in a relationship and a marriage?
You have to be able to communicate effectively, first of all, because communication isn't just communication. You have to have effective communication. If you're unable to effectively communicate how you feel, which goes back to understanding and regulating your emotions, then communication is null and void.
Yeah.
So for me, it's if I meet someone and we're dating or marriage or whatever the case may be, if you can't effectively communicate how you feel and relay how, and interpret those emotions properly, for me, it's not effective communication.
All right. I
So
like that.
it's very paramount.
Okay. And Coffee, what's your take on communication?
Well, as me, I'm an over communicator. So communication is not just paramount. I think it's the foundation of everything. I think people forget that in relationships, any relationship that you build in, when you're coming into one with anybody in connection, you're building something in a relationship. For me, I think of it like the Twin Towers. Communication should be compounded. It's not just, like you say, a one-way thing, or should be effective. You have to be in a place where you're self-aware. And if you're not self-aware with who you are and how you respond, then communication goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because if the person can't receive what you're saying, because I've been in communication with somebody and I'm stopping and listening to them, I'm like, we're saying the same thing, but we're speaking from two different planets. So now when we're trying to collide together our dimensions, we're not understanding that how you're raised, where you're raised at, where you're from, the people that you're around, the music that you listen to can change your perspective, how you hear and how you speak. So I tell people, don't speak to me in slang.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, bro, yo, you like, no, speak to me in Webster. Speak to me like a fifth grader. Because that way I know you're receiving me and I can receive you. I think people get crossed when emotions flare and voices raised, but sometimes you have to let those emotions be true, because if I'm with my person, I should be in a place where not only can I hear you, but I can be true to my feelings. And in a relationship, sometimes people get stuck on, oh, I don't want to be judged. No. I'm supposed to come home and give it to you raw. Because the world sees me filtered. But at home, you're supposed to shelter my emotions. You're supposed to shelter my feelings and say, hey, it's okay for you to feel this way. I'd rather for you to come home and get all your feelings out and your true emotions, so that when you leave out this house, you're secure. I done comforted you. I don't let you get it all out. I don't let you get that anger out. Because if we have displaced or misplaced emotion, communication is completely ineffective.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Sean, what do you think about threesomes and inviting somebody in the bedroom?
Absolutely not.
Why?
It's something that I simply don't subscribe to because I'm old school. Let's say that.
Okay.
You know, if I'm with someone, that's it.
Yeah.
It's me and them. At that point, if we can't figure it out, what are we inviting somebody else in for? Then no, we just need to go our own separate way. My grandma used to always tell me, baby, if that person ain't gonna rock that rocking chair, they gotta get up so somebody else can rock it.
Okay.
It's just that simple to me. But having another party to come into that, it only convolutes the issue. And the issue is something that's underlying that they haven't discussed or recognized already because there's no other reason someone else would be coming in. Because half the time I found that in dating, we can't have a third party because you can't even communicate with me the proper way. So how you going to invite somebody else in on that? So I'm totally against it. It makes no sense.
All right. Trish, what you think about inviting somebody in the bedroom?
Absolutely not. I don't agree with threesomes at all. Not within a relationship. I think it brings in too much confusion. It brings in extra spirits. If you're young or out there sowing your royal oats and playing the field, you do what you do. But if you are in an exclusive relationship,
That part.
absolutely not. No, I don't agree with it at all.
Okay, Katira, I'm gonna go to you. What's your thoughts on bringing someone into the bedroom?
So I'm gonna be very transparent. I feel like every relationship is different. If it came down to something very serious, marriage or whatever, long term, then nah. But you know, it depends on where you at in your life, and you know, every relationship, every person, every encounter is different. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Coffee. I want to ask you the same question. What is your take on inviting somebody in the bedroom for a threesome?
Well, I think I'm kind of neutral with everybody's opinion. I think it is depending on everybody's relationship in their situation. I also think that when we get in relationships, we sometimes forget that the first thing attracted to us, the people, was flesh. So for me, I think that if you are comfortable with your person, and if y'all have a relationship where, hey, they can come and tell you, we need to spice it up. Either you're gonna do something else, or that person's they're gonna wonder. You know, they're gonna wonder something. So I think you got to be able to know your person, be comfortable with yourself, be comfortable with your sexuality. I think when you first start a relationship, you need to be open with your sexuality, what you like, what you don't like, how far you going to the left or right, so that person know. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm with somebody and now 5 years, 10 years road, I'm upset because I'm sexually not satisfied.
Right.
Then not only does that causes problems, but that also goes back to communication. Are you effectively talking to that person and asking those questions in the beginning to where you know exactly what they're comfortable with? Sex is sex. You know, we're attracted to flesh, and if you're comfortable with your person and say, hey, we out and you looking, don't make it uncomfortable or make it hard for somebody to say somebody look good. It's okay to me. Cause I'm a look. I got eyes, I got eyeballs. You know, I'm gonna see something beautiful. I may want to tell my person, dang, she look nice, she's pretty. I think sometimes we over sexualize relationships, and when it comes to sex and pleasing somebody, because you're not gonna always please somebody. That's like bringing in toys. You know, some people be against toys. Would you rather have somebody that's sexually frustrated, and now it's going to cause some type of friction somewhere? So I just think, you know, being able to communicate about your sexual preferences, even when they come up, because some people don't want to be judged. I think it goes back to, that's why communication is so pivotal, because people get into relationships to where now you're sexually unsatisfied, and now it caused you to wind up stepping out. So like T said, you know, it's all about your relationship.
All right. Coffee, I also want to ask you this. What advice do you have for women whose boyfriend or husband is telling them, hey, I want this threesome? We have all heard that this is every man's fantasy.
Yeah.
To have a threesome.
Yes.
Okay. What advice do you have for women that choose to do it because they love him, but they really don't want to do it, but they're gonna do it because that's what he wants?
Pick somebody you like. Pick somebody that like you. And if the person likes your spouse, then guess what they're gonna be trying to do? Replace you. So I would say get somebody that likes you. And I think everybody wants to please their person, you know, in some type of fashion and form. But is a threesome necessarily mean that you have to have intercourse with that person? Could a threesome mean that, hey, they want to want somebody to watch them? Could it mean that, hey, they want to watch porn? Some relationships, you know, are you open to porn? Is that something that you and your person is open to? So I think it depends on what level that person wants to go to. Because a threesome doesn't always have to mean sexual intercourse. That person, I mean, your man may just want to watch somebody please you. So have that question. I'm not going to tell somebody do something that you don't want to do, because then you're going to regret it. So don't have anybody put you in a situation where you're going to regret. I don't care who they is. But at the end of the day, you know, if that person loves you and you're against it, then they shouldn't be forcing you anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want to move on to dirty. Dirty. Why is it that we live in a world where a woman can sleep with a woman, and then the next day she say, you know, I don't like this, you know, it is what it is, and she's not judged? But if a man decides to have a one night stand with another man, he's looked at as a gay man when it was just something he was just experiencing with.
Back to your question. Why they look upon men as gay and women not? I look at both of them the same way. If you do it, you didn't do it. That's your business. That's your life. Do whatever you want. Whatever float your boat, float your boat. Just don't bring it my way. You do whatever you want to do. If you want to sleep with another man, that's your business. You want to sleep with want to sleep with another woman, that's your business. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay. All right. Trish, I'm going to ask you the same question. Why is it looked at different for women and men?
So I'm not actually sure why it's looked at differently, but I do feel like it's just, with women, it seems like it's just more accepted. But for me, I feel like curiosity is curiosity. I don't feel like if a man sleeps with another man and then feels like the next day, this is not for me. Like, you know what I mean? I think he felt like he just wanted to see what that experience would be like. And if he didn't like it, he didn't like it. I don't feel like you're gay because of that. Same as for a woman. I feel like if you want to just get satisfy that curiosity and you do it and you don't like it, then you just didn't like it. You know what I mean? And you move on. But I don't feel like, as a man, I don't feel like you're gay because you tried it and you didn't like it.
All right, I want to go to you, Sean. What's your take on that?
Well, that's a good one, because there are a lot of caveats to this. And the first thing is that I feel like women have been sexualized since the beginning of history. And that's why it's acceptable, because women have been sexualized, and when men have had this carnal desire to always see this of women. So it's always one of those, it's a norm. It's a societal norm. However, when it comes to men and someone who lives an alternative lifestyle, it is, the variation then becomes, you see a person as gay simply because of what they have on or what they're doing. But at the end of the day, the first thing I always say is, I am a black man. You understand? So when we break down the situation, when we go back to slavery, how the slave owners demasculated black men, it became completely taboo for a man to explore his feminine side. That's a huge part of it. But just to drill down to your point, I feel like if a man was to have an encounter, just like to echo what she was saying, you know, if a man was to have an experience and he says, oh, that's not for me, that does not make him gay. By definition, it does not make him gay. Because by definition, that means he has an attraction to the same sex. That's not an attraction. That means I was exploring. We all explore. Whether it's with a hamburger, and if I like the hamburger, guess what? I might eat the hamburger again.
Okay.
But that does not mean
Mm-hmm.
that I'm gay.
Okay.
It just simply does not mean that. So I think there are a lot of taboos that we have, and especially in Black culture, because I'm criticized more so in my own culture than I am in any other culture.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, you know. So I think those are really aspects that we have to look at, and I have a lot of respect for his response. He said, "That ain't my business," you know. And I think a lot of Black men should have that same response, because just because someone's sexual identity is slightly different and not what you deem it to be, which is your belief, that does not make it factual. It means that is not your belief.
Okay.
You cannot say anything else about that.
All right. Coffee. I'm gonna come over here to you. What's your take on it? On if a man, if he has sexual intercourse with another man, is he considered gay? Why is women praised more for it? So if a woman sleeps with another woman and she decides tomorrow, hey, you know, I was drunk, I slept with my friend, but you know, it just is what it is, right? And she going about her business, but she's not looked down on. But if John sleep with Tim, you know, and he say, hey, you know, I tried it, it's not for me, why is he still looked at as a gay man? I think it's depending on how he looks at himself first. Because nobody judgment or view of you really means anything unless you identify with it. So if he says, if somebody know, like he said, it ain't nobody business. I really don't care what nobody do in their personal space or in their bedroom. It has nothing to do with me. I think where in the Black community, where I think that it gets kind of misidentified is when they change how they appear. Sometimes I think the appearance of like I say metrosexual or the look of it is what people really identify with. Cause some men may have tried it and you would never know. So it's all about how they carry themselves and how they allow people to judge them. Then that's how, you know, we carry. But if you go back into biblical times and even in other countries, women aren't looked at for sexual satisfaction. Women are looked at for just reproduction. So you gotta depend on how you're viewing it. I think people need to mind their own business. For real. Cause like this being real blunt, I was in the military and we had the don't ask, don't tell policy. And being a soldier, I'm gonna tell you, I've had soldiers that I knew was gay. You know? And I did not care. Long as when it was time for you to do your job, that's all that mattered to me. Yeah. I think even in the military, I think that's where we got away from actual soldiering and, you know, stuff like that is when it's the change of things, you know, in society, how things supposed to look. A man supposed to do this and a woman supposed to do that. I think that, like he said, women are sexualized, you know, in everything. It's just not, you know, it's everywhere you go, women are sexualized. Yeah. You know, so I think that would make it kind of more acceptable for women to do it, like he said. But who cares? Get your nuts. All right. I want to move on to something else. Old school. What is the difference between side chicks back when you were coming up and side chicks today?
The difference between side chicks in the past and side chicks now, I think, from my life experiences, is more acceptable now because the side chick sometimes has embraced that. Just like we have the term, my baby's daddy. You know what I mean? And it's all about lifestyle. Some women want to be kept in that fashion. They don't want to have the everyday run and drum of having a man around. They just want somebody to kind of take care of them. And if the side chick position is what it costs to maintain that, they're willing to do it. But that's been going on for ages. You know, everybody always think that things are time oriented, but it's how society looks at it now with the acceptability of it. you kind of can get away with it a little cleaner now than you could when I was coming up, because it was like, he cheating on mama, he cheating like that. And then when a child is involved in it, it really gets sticky, it really gets tacky. But nothing is really new under the sun. It's always been that. It's just the way the morals and society has changed and gravitated toward that. We tend to always want to find a comfortable place for things to land, instead of saying, no, I ain't going for that no more. Everything's too acceptable. And that even goes back, I'm tying it back in what you were talking about, the threesome and all that kind of thing. It's become kind of a spot in our society for that lifestyle, you know. And I don't think I'm in a position to judge, because I've dated, before I was married, a couple of women at the same time. I think when you get a boundary around your relationship, like being in a marriage, then the side chick is not acceptable, as far as I'm concerned. But what's the difference? You know, you're supposed to be monogamous in relationship. You're supposed to respect the relationship you're in. So why would I even have another girlfriend? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because I'm married now, that box is down there, then it's really out of the thing. But people still do it. Yeah. So I just think you got to find somebody that you really love, that you really want to play with, and y'all do y'all thing.
Okay. Dirty. What's the difference between side chicks back in the day and side chicks now?
What's the difference? Ain't no difference. It ain't. It's the same thing going on back then, the same thing going on right now. Ain't no nothing new up under the sun. Women just accepted more right now these days. Back then, you couldn't hardly find who did this, who did that, because it wasn't shown. You know who were the thought monsters and this monster did that. Now you see it more every day. They don't care about being a side chick.
Exactly.
It's all about MONEY.
I just feel like back when our grandparents was coming up, you know, granddaddy had a side chick over here, a side chick over here, and a side chick over here, but they respected our grandmother. They wasn't throwing it in our grandmother's face. And our grandfather would still take care of his kids over here, his family over there, his family over there. So I feel like the difference with, you know, side chicks back then and side chicks today is the respect. Like, they don't mind, like, calling the wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, just some of them, they don't know their place.
Yeah.
It's just is what it is, you know.
But men spoke different.
That's true.
Men carried themselves differently. You know what I'm saying? The conversation that men had back then, cause you already knew what you had the conversation with woman when she knew her place. You know what I mean? Where you wasn't afraid. Granddad wasn't afraid to, nah, you finna chill. This my wife. You gonna make sure you respect my wife. The level of respect was different. Side chicks, there was always concubines. If you remember, go back then in biblical terms, there was always another one. When the wife couldn't do, there was another one. So I think it was a respect level of the man that he showed to women. See, a woman, even society, no matter how we look at it, women can only do what men opens the door to do.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? So if you're not a man, I'm gonna tell you, I tell my husband, listen, if you're gonna get somebody, make sure they benefit the house. You understand what I'm saying?
Say it again.
If you're going to get somebody, make sure they benefit the house. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you want me to tolerate and accept something because you feel as though I'm not doing, baby, cause I get my hair done, I get my nails done, I get my feet done. I say, you understand? What is she doing to advocate? Because you should not be getting somebody that's taking away. She shouldn't take away. Back then, they took away. That's why they had separate houses and they had families that was separate. Nobody knew because they was taken away from the house. The man was not going to work and being 9 to 5 and it was cell phones. They was going riding on the road, walking to get to the next house, So they had excuse. Now society doesn't give them excuse, but it's all about maturity and conversation. Because you cannot stop somebody from doing what they gonna do.
Yeah.
But if you gonna do it, make sure the person got at least as much as you to lose.
You got the game.
Or they add into your house. Don't have nobody that you gonna be taking the money out of my pocket because baby, we gonna have a problem. Then she gonna cook, she clean. What's she doing? Because if you want me to tolerate her, she just ain't finna be laying on her back, baby. She gotta be doing something that's gonna provide to my household that's not gonna give me a headache. Because if I got a headache at home taking care of these kids, what is she doing? She gonna pick them up from. Is she gonna pick them up from baseball practice? Is she taking them off, drop them off to karate? We gotta be in this together. Because if you want that penis, is that what you really looking for? Because he's slinging wood, okay? Because baby, I get mad when a little Peter man cheat. You ain't got no reason to cheat. Your neck should be strong. I'm just saying. So he better be. We gonna have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Because that's where it really starts from. If he's slinging wood, big dick energy give big dick results. You feel me? I'm just saying.
Man.
All right, my next question is for Katira. Katira, what's your take on what one woman won't do, the next will?
So, I mean, that's self-explanatory. Because what one won't do, another will do. But ultimately, again, communication, love, it's your job to make sure that whatever your partner needs, you're there for them. And it's up to your partner to communicate those needs to you. And be comfortable enough to communicate that to you.
True.
In order for that partner not to go outside looking for that. But in the event that you drop the ball, she gonna do it. Absolutely.
Okay. I want to ask, and you don't have to go on camera, but I want to ask this question to Old School's wife, because she's wiser, she's lived life, and like I said, you don't have to go on camera. We can just hear your voice. What is your take on what one woman won't do, the next will do?
Well, first of all, if you doing your job, satisfy your man, he ain't gonna have no reason to go outside, to another woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I know, you know what I'm saying, by experience, you know. This is my second marriage as
With
well,
the leg
but,
cross.
you know, when you handle your business, they don't have no reason to go outside.
Right. All right. So, Katira, this question is for you. You're dating someone, and they are very supportive behind closed doors, but they're not on social media. They never post you on social media. They never support you on social media. How would you feel about that?
So that would definitely be a red flag or a deal breaker for me if you could support me behind closed doors and you couldn't support me to the public. If I feel like you would have something to hide, especially if it came down to business. Even if you're not the type of person to put your personal business on social media, but if it came down to business or whatever, and you couldn't support me that way, then that would be definitely a red flag for me. Deal breaker.
Sean, I'm gonna ask you the same question. How would you feel about that?
I really feel like that's a deal breaker. Because I'm the type of person, I need to be loved out loud. Like, if you're going to support me behind closed doors, then you have to support me publicly. The love that I give is out loud. The love I require is also out loud. And if those are not things that you're doing, that's why I set a boundary for myself and say, then somebody's going to rock that rocking chair. And for me, it's just that simple.
Okay.
It's just that simple.
All right.
Love me out loud at all costs.
Right. Okay. Old School, I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about someone supporting you privately but not out loud or on social media?
I think you have to be all in. You know, if that's your boo or your man or whatever the situation is, I want to be celebrated, not tolerated. The whole 9 yards. And if it's a business aspect of it, and you reaping some of the benefits from that business, why aren't you feeding into it? It's a no-brainer. It just makes sense. It's just like having we used to call it a shadow girl back in the day. Like, it's like having a girl you don't want to go out and be seen with her in public, but you knocking boots every which way every night. So you got to be in it to win it. And with this couple thing, I'm gonna just extend this a little bit. With this couples thing, That's what couple is. Coupling means when you hook something together, like trains couple. You couple in the cars when you put them on those big things to haul them around, and you lock them down so they won't roll off. So when you couple, you got to be hooked.
Yeah.
So if you're not hooked like that, how could you even say that?
Yeah. All right, Coffee, I'm gonna ask you the same question. How do you feel about being loved privately but not out loud?
I think, well, I'm a private person. So I've been in situations where people knowing who I'm involved with cause problems. And it's not necessarily it's not a good like people can be jealous. I've also experienced jealousy in a relationship because sometimes you can be with somebody and they don't expect for you to amount or to be as great because you grow, you know, and when you grow, somebody may not want to be a part of what you're doing, not in the way of not supporting you, but no, I want you to do this because that's not my world. I'm a very loud person in the sense of my personality. When I speak, I'm not loud with people. You're gonna notice me, and I'm attracted to very quiet, kept, very. You know, some men I've dated, and my husband, he's not big on social media. So that wouldn't bother me because I know he's not big on social media. He doesn't know as many people as I do. He's not on there posting as much as I do. So I think it's all dependent on a person too. You know, you have to know the audience and know your person. I don't think it's a bad thing if that person is supporting you. And when you gotta bottle up something and you gotta pack up a book, I need a hat done. I need you to sit there with me because I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning creating the brim while I'm working on the book. Or is that person there then? You know, are you there when it counts the most? Because sometimes you can invite the wrong energy in to your world. Some people don't need to know who you got at home. You know what I'm saying? Because now you can be letting different spirits in, and now they're jealous of, well, how you doing this? And they don't know what you're doing, and now they're bringing chaos into your world. You know what I'm saying? Because when I walk into a room, I don't need for you to know who I'm attached to. I need for you to see Coffee. My personal life has nothing to do with my business or my business life. You know what I mean? They're two totally different people. Yeah. So I think it's all about knowing the person and being okay with if that person is supporting you and they got your back. They riding. They don't have the world doesn't always have to know you. I think the social media now, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everybody is putting on this play for the world. You know what I'm saying? But at home, there's somebody else. And I think that's important to have something sacred. You know, that's just for you. I want to go to Dirty and Dirty. I want to get your take on a person loving you privately but not out loud. What's your take on that?
I had a conversation every day. My significant other. I say that I talk about that all the time because I know I'm just not out here being in the movies, in the podcasts, and I do music also. I produce people. So I'm out here in the entertainment world for real. So I talked to my old lady, talked to my wife the same way. I say, listen, cause we were talking about this as I was coming here. She said, cause I've seen a Bentley pass by me. She said, I remember you told me that we're gonna be riding Bentley, matching Bentleys and everything. I said, but you don't support what I got going on. So how you want to ride into a Bentley, but you don't support my dream that I got, but I support your dreams. So it go two-way street. Remember that? Remember, I found love on two-way street. It go 2 ways. We support each other. That's what that means about watering the plants. You water my plant, I water your plant. See, but people don't want to talk about that. That's another subject.
Old school. I want to come back to you. What would you like to add on to that?
When we had the break, she and I was talking about perspective. And it's good to have forums like this because you can be mindset on something and Could be good, could be right, could be righteous. But when you hear another voice, it triggers that other part of you. Now, my take on it was just like Dirty said. How you gonna ride in the Bentley and you ain't put no gas in the tank? Okay? But she gave another perspective, which was just as clear when she said, protect your space. Everybody don't need to know what you're doing. But if that person that you think should be supporting you in that other area like social media, he may not be that candidate, but he's got your back. You come home, food on the table. You ain't got to go worry about grocery shopping because he got you, because he know you doing this other thing. So the reason I want to readdress it because I missed that. It's a coupulation of things, which goes back to that coupling. You got to know your person. They got to kind of know their role. Not that you pigeonholing them in something, but they got to know what part they play in the mechanism of what y'all doing. And that was right on time what you said, Coffee, about the space. Because my space at home with my queen is sacred. I don't, and she'll tell you, we have an issue, not a big issue, but get off that phone all the time. I don't want to know what Jerry and Peggy and Mary and Susan are doing. I don't want all that energy in our energy. I'm selfish that way. When I come home and I decompress, I teach tennis, I cook, I do a lot of stuff. I do a pop-up. That's how I met my man here, being out on the streets. But when I leave that, it's out there. I don't want all that following me home. That's our sacred time. I want to love on you, let you love on me. Billy, Bobby, and Bowlegs gonna be there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I respect what you said, and that's what we were talking about, perspective. That's what makes this atmosphere of sharing like this so important, because it's all up under the C word, communicating.
Sean, how important is finding out about your significant other's childhood trauma when you guys are dating?
I think that is one of the most important things that you can find out a person. Because the first thing that you understand is how they deal with trauma, and if they have dealt with trauma. That's very important. And you also understand their family dynamic because of all the trauma they've been through. Those are key factors in understanding if those people are going to have red flags and whether or not you can be with that person. But then also understanding your boundaries with that person. Because see, hold on. When you begin to understand, first of all, you have to set your boundaries, and those have to be stacked. They have to be set. And once you completely understand what a person has going on with their family dynamic, the traumas they have, how they've dealt with those, how they've addressed those, if they've addressed those, then you understand that person. But that's also when you understand whether you stay or whether you go. Because you don't get to tell a person exactly how to love you. What you get to do is see how they love, and then you leave or you stay. And like my granny always said, either you're going to rock this rocket chair or somebody's going to rock it. Those are key factors in which you understand who a person is. And I'm going to add to this, I'm going to elaborate on that in just 1 second, in saying that the first thing I ask when I'm dating someone is out of all the trauma in your life, could you go back to something that you have, one of your traumas in your childhood, to where you wish that you were the person that you had in your life? The person you wanted to grow up to be. You wish you would have been that person. Tell me about that. And if a person tells me, well, oh no, I can't, it wasn't that, or I couldn't have been, or I'm not understanding who it could have been, that lets me know that you haven't fully understood that trauma. You know what I'm saying? Because we all grow up to be who we wanted to intercede for us in that life. Who we want to be. If I look back on my childhood, I said the person I am now is who I wanted in my life. You understand? So when you look at it from that perspective, then you understand who a person is. And if they can't look back, and if they have not evolved into the person who they wanted to be in their life at that point in time, they haven't evolved. And it's a red flag for me. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, wow, that too.
Trish, I want to ask you that same question. Elaborate on childhood trauma and dating.
extremely important to learn about somebody's childhood traumas, because you need to know if they have mommy issues, daddy issues, if they were molested, if whatever happened, because you need to understand why they act the way that they act, why they respond to things the way that they respond to things. You need to know that. You absolutely do. Like me, for instance, I am the person that I wish I had. I'm the mother that I wish I had. To be completely honest, and then sometimes you don't. When you understand that trauma, you have to relearn things, and you have to understand, like, okay, well, this is what happened, and this is what this is what I know, but this is what I need to learn because you've been erroneously taught all your life. So you absolutely have to find out about people's traumas. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Old school. What's your take on dating and childhood trauma?
I'm glad you asked that question because been there, done that, lived that. I very rarely like to talk about people when they aren't here to defend themselves, but I will say this in truth: lived it.
Yeah.
I won't be specific about their particular issue, but it was known to me because they did mention it and tell me about it. But they didn't become that person that they needed in their life, and I was affected by it. Brings me back to the old saying that abused people often abuse people. And it caused me to be in that toxic relationship for 15 years. And at the end of the day, me being a man and we like to fix things, and thinking I'm bad, I got this. I didn't have shit because I got caught up in it. And without my beautiful wife right now, I was probably be in a different space. To be more over candid, partially why I chose her, because we did have history, which was a good history. And I don't know if you remember, but when I told you we dated before, and it was like not really a toss-up, but I made the wrong decision. And sometimes when you follow your lower half instead of what your spirit's telling you, you mess up.
Yeah.
Thank God that we got a God that's merciful, and because I could have been up under the bridge after the thing I went through. But he saved me, found me a good home, a good church home, and all of that. So it was a lesson that I had to learn. But the red flags were there. But I'm still thinking with my lower part instead of my spirit. You follow what I'm saying? So God gave me my spirit back. And I'm thankful for that. But you really have to pay attention. You have to watch the signs. You have to be inquisitive enough to think outside the box to find out. You can't fix everything.
Yeah.
And I thought I could fix that, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it ended up costing me. So, and I do have a solid state declaration that when it's over, I don't go back. I don't revisit it at all. Because there were attempts from that party to try to rekindle. But
rekindle?
Yeah.
It was a wrap. So I'm glad you asked. That's a great question, because a lot of people miss that and don't understand why you in toxic relationship.
How you took it with you.
Yeah. And then if you allow it, you end up attracting that same thing. Over and over again, and that vicious cycle gets you caught up. Then you 60, 70, 80 years old and you've messed up. But God. But God.
All right. I want to go behind the scenes, and I want to ask Old School's wife the same question about what's your take on dating and childhood trauma?
Okay. It's very important to find out who you're with. You know, it can be Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. You know, people flip the script so much, but it's very important that you sit down and you have a candid conversation as to, you know, what happened, you know, in your younger years, even in some of your adult years. You know, you've been through certain situations that make you act a certain way. You know, I'm not gonna call those specific names, but I have some family members that have been through that same thing. They just can't seem like everything's going smooth one minute, next thing they call it. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going on, being disruptive and just no peace. And then you bring it to our house, calling us. You know what I'm saying? You really need to search and talk about who you with. Because it's very important.
I love that.
Very important.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Katira, I'm gonna jump over and get your take on dating and childhood trauma.
Coming from someone who has dealt with childhood trauma, I think it's extremely important that you pick and choose the right person. I say all the time in sarcasm to men and dating that you couldn't handle me, but not in the sense that they don't have the capacity of finances or whatever it is that you're looking for in a partner, but mental stability is more important than anything. So hearing old school speak about his experience, it's just that sometimes men don't know how to love you where you are. And alignment is so important because just because somebody experienced this childhood trauma don't mean that's where they are today, but it uproots them to who they are in that moment. And just having somebody that understands that and know how to love you where you are is extremely important.
Absolutely true.
Extremely important.
Right, Coffee, I want to jump over to you and get your intake on your take on dating and childhood trauma.
So my take on dating and childhood trauma is just like everybody else's. I think red flags are something that we all ignore. It's like when you meet somebody and they're saying all the right things. They're representative. And then you're going through the process of dating and now you done put on that coat. You done put on them shoes. You done put on all the things that made you feel comfortable with that person to appease you. But when you don't ask those important questions, like what happened to you as a child, but in that, before that, did that person do the work? Can you identify that person being in a place of, I don't think we ever truly heal from trauma. I think we learn how to cope with it, and through time it doesn't affect us as much. We know how to navigate through it. So I'm glad you asked that question because it brings me back to my book, my book called The 8K Lessons I Didn't See. When I navigate through life, people don't know who you're talking to. They don't know who you are. And the first story of my book is when I was in 3rd grade and I was getting bullied and I was on the bus and I stopped riding the bus. And so from that, my older sister found out. And my older sister found out, guess what? She said, oh, you're not riding the bus? I'm finna tell mama. Oh, guess what happened? Mama called everybody around. We got in the car and we went to that person's house. In that moment, I was changed. Right? And then I became a bully. So now my navigation through life is I had to speak up because if I didn't fight the person who was bullying me, my sister gonna beat my ass. Mama gonna beat my ass. Grandma gonna, you understand what I'm saying? That's the old school. You got to, so then I went through a whole transition of life becoming what I did not want to face, you know what I'm saying? Which was the bully. You see what I'm saying? So even in my relationships, people think that I'm very assertive or aggressive, but no, I'm protecting me because that softer version of me, not everybody can handle. You're not going to be able to handle the vulnerable part of me. So before I even get there, I need for you to know, because I brought my husband home. I need for you to understand. And they told him, if she brought you home, you got something, because I ain't bring nobody home. Okay? And he was like, oh, I understood who you were. But I don't think he understood who I became until he read my book. Because it allowed him to see it from a different perspective. Because you can hear stories, but when you read something, you live it. You know what I mean? So my trauma was becoming a bully. And because I'm assertive as I am, when I walk in the room, my presence is that. People automatically assume. I done had men come up to me and say, oh, I'm not afraid of you. And I'm like, well, what about me upsets your insecurity? Because I'm a confident woman, but you don't know the struggle that I went through to get here. You know, so it's not always about understanding. They have to have went through that walk themselves. Because people live in who they became, the hat they wore to get here. But you didn't identify the holes you covered up in your backyard. You understand what I'm saying? So until you deal with them holes in your backyard, you're not gonna be able to be in a relationship with where somebody can even handle or deal with the tender part of your trauma because they haven't identified theirs. So trauma, like he said, people that hurt people. But even for me, I had to learn because I'm thinking that I'm protecting me and I'm in this outer core. I had to learn to stop and say, wait a minute, I don't have to protect me all the time. You know, somebody might be really trying to love me. And my fear of getting hurt causes me. You understand? To be defensive. But they have to be open to identifying truth and asking those questions.
That's right.
All right.
Say that.
All right, Dirty. Last but not least, I want to jump to you and get your input on dating and childhood trauma.
Oh, my perspective on that is, I went through childhood trauma when I was young, at 3 years old. I got caught in the fire. They told my mom I'm gonna make it all, and they told my mom I wasn't gonna make it, but that was a lie. So my thing, when they go to a relationship, I let them know that I tend to love more because of what I went through. I tend to put more into it because what stuff I went through in childhood, the trauma I went through. I was in the hospital for a whole year, in a coma, all kind of stuff. So I took myself and I grew myself every day after seizures. I walked out of that. I taught myself, I got out here and started hustling at a young age, making money. Had other folks out there hustling with me. So I took that upon myself and put it in a relationship at the same time. What I did coming up, I brought that into my relationship. That's what I want to build in my relationship. Because if you don't build a relationship, your relationship gonna be doomed from the get-go. First, you gotta have friendship, you gotta have all this stuff. So we can't talk about this stuff, but ain't no point of being together at all. So I took all that, and my daddy never did that for me. He dead and gone. He couldn't do that for me. So I got 8 kids out here by different women's. But you know, you know what I'm saying, I went through this woman, that woman had these kids and everything, and went through the situation I went through because I was trying to find my Lord because of what I went through. I said I was gonna raise my kids no matter what. To that day, my kid calling for anything, ask for anything, I'm gonna do it. Women have a problem with that. Some women have a problem with that because, you know, relationship you have with your kids and relationship you have with a spouse is 2 different relationships. Because first you're supposed to put God, then your kids, then your spouse, and you last. That's what they say. No, you're supposed to put God, your spouse, your kids, then you last. That's how it's supposed to go. Well, people put their kids first. You don't supposed to put your kids first. You're supposed to put God, your spouse, your kids, then your wife, then you. That's how everything gonna roll around and everything gonna go the right way. But if you don't do that, you talk about the trauma and all this stuff. No matter what you've been through in life, it was just a stepping stone for you to get up and become somebody you're supposed to become in life. You can't become that in life if you ain't never been through that.
That's right.
You can't tell nobody that.
Yeah.
This crackhead told me this long time ago. He said I'm gonna be the best crackhead I can be. I'm not gonna go out and steal, I'm not gonna take, but I'm gonna be the best crackhead I gotta do what I gotta do. If I gotta go out there and watch cars, pump gas, do whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna get my money so I can buy my crack myself and smoke. That's what he told me. I'm not gonna go out and steal because that ain't what I do. I'm gonna be the best at what I do.
Yeah.
And he told me that. His son was famous too. His son played basketball and everything, but he was just a crackhead. He did what he did. He just said, you can't bring your trauma into your relationship. Because you bring your trauma into your relationship is doomed.
All right, Trish, this question is for you. Why do we fall in love with potential?
I think we fall in love with potential because we are hoping that person is who they're portraying themselves to be, or who we want them to be, or who we see that we want.
Keyword want.
And I feel like that's why we fall in love with potential. And no matter how much they show us, I'm not that person. It's like you continue to give and you give and you give and you overgive. Cause it's like for you, it's like, don't you see how much I love you? Don't you see I'm doing this, I'm doing that? Why can't you do the same thing? And it's like you want them to do the same thing. You want them to be that person that you feel like they could be, but they are just not.
Yeah,
they are not that person.
Sean, I want to ask you the same question. Why do we fall in love with potential?
Because we don't know our value.
Say it again.
So, let me elaborate.
Don't be so disrespectful.
Absolutely. Sometimes you have to get disrespectful stuff so you can receive it the right way. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is you fall in love with potential because you haven't done enough work on yourself to understand your value. Because when you do the work and understand your value, then you understand that that's not going to work for me.
That's right.
So we can't look at certain things. Now, I agree with what you said, absolutely, to be clear. But the problem is I had to dissect that because I just got out of that situation.
Come on.
And
Truth.
I said, well, self, why did you allow this to happen? Because then we have to take accountability.
Come on,
and that's where most of the hurt comes from. Because I have to sit in that and say, dummy.
You the reason.
Like,
You was saying
dummy.
this shit. Yeah.
I saw the red flags. Yes. I knew it was potential, but guess what? I can't do that no more. You gotta already be potential when you come to me now.
What's the word? Give me the word.
Potential.
Right.
When you come to me,
Right.
you have to be potential.
Bullshit.
Okay.
You gotta be together. You can't. And so once I realized that, and the whole gist of this, once I realized that it wasn't them. We gonna take them out of it at this point. It was because I needed to do more work on myself, and I was seeking validation and saying that I wanted someone to love me in a certain way based off the ideology and the thought that I had in my head. So sometimes the hard shit is, excuse me if I can cuss, is you gotta sit in the full devastation of the decision that you made when you saw that red flag. So we gonna take every other nigga out of it or every other woman out of it, and we gonna say work. Work. Can we say work? Because when you realize that you have to do that work, that's when you understand, guess what? I'm not going to fall in love with potential. Because potential ain't it. Potential ain't got shit to do with me. That's your work. That's the same thing as childhood trauma. That's your work.
That's your way.
And then I would be falling in love with potential because guess what? You ain't did the work on your childhood trauma. So we can circle this all the way around.
Talk to nobody else like that in a disrespectful tone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you're not going.
And that's why they can't take me. That's why they can't take me. Because at the end of the day, I understand who I am. I understand my authority. I understand my power. I understand my value. And all of that, those things that I understand, and I understand the spirit of God. No one else has to understand who I am, but God does. And once I understood that, I then understood.
You can understand beside me.
No, that's right. You got an A+.
Play with me.
Are you an honor roll student?
Absolutely.
I'm the dean.
What? And
I own the school. I own the school, though.
Hello?
I own it.
Because you cannot understand You cannot be with someone and love potential and fall in love with potential if you understand who you are in God, if you understand who you are in your work, if you understand who you are as a human being and in life. So when you do that work, you understand who you are. There's no potential that's going to change that. So when we say fall in love with potential, baby, that means you got some more work to do.
That means you still working on self.
That means you still have work to do.
I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Like I said, I handpicked you guys. I thought long and hard about who I wanted on this panel. This my second panel. And I made some mistakes the first panel. But this panel, I thought long and hard about who I wanted on this panel. I wanted some people that was opinionated. I wanted some strong people. I wanted some people that didn't mind putting their, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents in. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate this so much. And thank you guys for joining in on another episode of Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Y'all know what time it is.
Y'all know what time it
It's that
is.
real talk, straight talk with the
You
Royal
know what it
Queen.
is. It's Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Y'all know what time it is. It's Straight Talk with the Royal Queen.
Straight talking
Yes,
with the Royal
baby.
Queen right now.
It's that time when you finna hit that real talk, straight talk with the Royal Queen.